shop, just doing some growing. I've got some Serranos here. This is experiment number 2. So if I can get it to zoom in here. So it's a Serrano Spanish variety. And so as you can see, we got a couple here. They're still attached to the paper towel actually in there. And so what I did is I had it rolled up in this bag here. But I got this tray from a planter, and then I set them directly on, if I can get a layer here, the top layer, and then cut around them to put them in there. So you can see how it's all kind of cut up and tore this small piece here. It was part of a larger piece that covered over to here. And out of 5 seeds, I had to throw one away because it started to rot. But this one is the oldest. This one would be the newest that I just planted this morning, and so we'll see how that ends up. And these are the other 2 that were left in seeds. Now that guy there, you can see his leaves aren't very good. Just the very tips of them got ripped off when I tried to pull the seed off the end because it was stuck. But most of the leaf is there, so we'll see what happens with that guy. I think I'm just going to leave him on the paper towel. And then we got this guy here, which is also sprouting on the top. If I can get it to focus again. But again, the seed is stuck just on the end there, ever so slightly. If I can get her to refocus on it for you guys. Well, I guess it does not want to do that. So, anyway, yeah, that was... There we go. What I'm dealing with. So this experiment does work. So far, out of all the dollar store seeds I've gotten, doing it this way, putting them in a tray, keeping it soaked, wrapping it in a bag, I've had a 100% sprout success rate. And just putting them in dirt and trying to sprout them the way those ones are. Again, those are on paper towel currently, but just putting them in dirt and trying to sprout them, I think I had a 1 in 5 success rate. Whereas putting them on the paper towel in a bag and just leaving them on the counter like this, again, I spaced them out just enough, so as you can see, this one's root ends about where my pinky is. This one starts about right here, so there's, you know, a couple inches in between the 2 ends. And so then I could just cut along through the middle there, take this chunk, plant it, and then take this chunk and plant it. And so that's what I've done with these 2, and we will see where they end up. If they keep growing, one's going to come home with me, and it'll be the first one in my garden. And if not, well, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I was quite surprised to get a 100% sprout rate going this way and waiting versus just trying to put it in the soil and keep the soil wet enough to keep up with it. And then this guy here, actually, there was so little water in the tub down here. You can see it's about up to the brown line there. But when I came in this morning, there was so little water, I think that's why the other one died. And now this one had a bigger chunk of paper towel because it was the first one I cut out, and so I believe that paper towel absorbed and held a lot more water, which kept it surviving through the last 4 or 5 days here with very minimal water, as compared to the other one, which had a smaller piece. And so now this one here has about inch by inch, maybe 1.5 by 1.5 square. And then I pointed the root downward as well in this one, versus that one it's sitting flat across from side to side of the rim of the cup. And so we'll see if that makes any difference either. So yeah, thank you guys for bearing with me. I'm getting there a little at a time, and still got things going in the projects in the background. Just taking my time getting them figured out and set up. So hopefully you guys can learn something from this, because like I said, this is probably 5 to 10 paper towels. I know that's quite a varying number, but I didn't pay attention. And I layered, and then I put, you know, 5 seeds out and about, and then I let them soak up all the water into the paper towels, and then I filled it again until the seeds were just kind of floating a bit, but not really. I didn't want them to be loose in there and just kind of out and about. I just wanted them to be not resting on the paper towel fully, I guess is the best way to say it. And again, just wrapped them in this bag. I didn't even seal it. I just folded it under itself and left it on the counter for about a week now. and this is what we have. So hopefully this helps some of you. Hopefully it doesn't. I know I've talked about wanting to do this experiment. And I should also mention, just as another thing, this is phase 2 of the experiment. Phase 1, I actually did the same thing, but I laid paper towel over the top. They are not strong enough to grow through at least this paper towel, and so it ended up actually killing the whole first batch of seeds. But so far, doing it this way, I'm 10 for 10, versus, like I said, I got 1 of 5 maybe just throwing the seeds in the dirt. So that's actually a huge improvement. And then the second round here, not putting that paper towel over the top, has given me the freedom to cut and remove, and then my root still gets access to the dirt. The plant can still grow up, or whichever way it wants. Versus, I noticed with the paper towel over it, the ones that did start to sprout to green only made it about that far before getting pinched in the paper towel and killing themselves. And these guys have had plenty of chance. And then especially I left a gap, a little bit of a hump over the top like that with the bag. And so they had about, that much room to grow up if they needed it, which is quite a bit. And so this guy here is actually about an inch and a half tall off of the paper towel, but I wanted to make sure the root was down far enough. And so it's just barely poking the dirt, whereas this guy's probably only down to the top of the A there on the ahi. And of course these aren't the peppers that are in there. These are just repurposed cups we had from previous plants that ended up not quite making it. So they're not what they say. They are the Spanish Serrano. And again, thank you guys for bearing with me here as I get this going. And have a good day, y'all. We will see you next time whenever that video pops back out.